So I found this pretty funny and I just wanted to share it with you guys. I'm sure you've seen it. I'm sure you know everything that's going on. There's a lot of protests against guns. And I'm not a gun owner. No, I mean, I am, but it's like a show gun. You really can't fire it. It hasn't been fired. It needs a World War II replica thing. It's not something I'm hauling around, okay? It's not even something I have ammunition for. But you guys are protesting the guns, which is really interesting to me because the person that you say in power is Hitler. You say he's Hitler. And now somebody else on Twitter has said this way better than I said it, way long before I said it. You want Hitler to take away your guns. Somebody want to explain that to me? Does one Democrat anywhere want to explain to me how Hitler taking away our guns would be a good idea? You've said it. I'm not the one saying it. I don't think he's a great leader. I don't think he's a good leader. I certainly don't think he's Hitler. But for those of you who do think he's Hitler, do you really think that disarming the population is the best idea when Hitler is in the Oval Office? Explain that to me. Do you really think that's a good idea? Please. I would love to have a video discussion with you about why it's a good idea to take away the population's weaponry when Hitler is in power. I've prepared some notes. So let's just drag those over here so that I can read off of them like a president reading off of a teleprompter. I found this post by Miley Cyrus, who everyone knows that Miley Cyrus is a mainstay of the political movement and has always cared so very much about politics and right and wrong and justice for the little guy. Miley Cyrus has always been right on top of that. So we're going to listen to Miley Cyrus here. And she's posted this picture to her Tumblr. And I don't follow Miley Cyrus on Tumblr. I loosely use Tumblr to post my shit art. And Tumblr forces stuff like this down my throat despite the fact that I don't follow anybody like Miley Cyrus. I have seen this in the sidebar and had to comment on it. I shouldn't have to wear this vest to protest. It rhymes. It's kind of catchy. I shouldn't have to wear this vest to protest, okay? I'll give you it's catchy and that it rhymes. But let's talk about what protest means, shall we? You really think protesting should be 100% safe? If protesting were 100% safe, what is it that you're protesting? Maybe you're not actually understanding what protest is. I've got a little bit of the definition right here, if you'll bear with me. To publicly demonstrate strong objection to a policy or course of action adopted by those in authority. By those in authority. Let me just give it to you one more time in case you didn't hear it. By those in authority. The thing about the gun ban that you want is that it would take away your ability to get a gun. It would take away my ability to get a gun. But the people in power, you know, the authorities, like Trump, who you don't exactly trust as a defender of justice, and the paramilitary police force that you keep complaining about, they'd get to keep theirs. You do understand that, right? When you get the gun ban that you want, Trump's forces and the police that you've been complaining about for the last 2-3 years, they'd get to keep all their guns. You know that, right? That's how a gun ban would work. They would still have their guns. What I don't get is why you're asking Trump to take your guns away. Obama was in power for 8 years. Where's the gun control legislation? Between 2009 and 2010, before those midterm elections, Democrats had control of the House of Representatives. They had control of the Senate. They had a super majority in the space of about 6 months in the Senate, which means the Republicans couldn't even filibuster if they wanted to. And the Democrats had the Oval Office. Where was the gun control policy then? I want to be clear. I'm not an advocate for gun control either. But if you wanted to pass the laws, why didn't you fucking get the laws passed in 2009 when you had the Oval Office, you had Congress, and you had all of the votes you needed to pass those laws? Why didn't you do it then? Can you answer that question for me? Were there no school shootings before 2009? Because I'm pretty fucking sure Columbine happened in 2001. Pretty fucking sure that school shootings were a problem the whole time Obama was in office. And you know what I hear constantly? They were too busy working on the economy. 435 people and then another 100 senators, they were all focused on the economy. You couldn't have one subcommittee break off and write some gun legislation? I call fucking bullshit on that. If you wanted to pass gun legislation, you had your chance. Now you're asking the Republicans to do it. How stupid can you possibly fucking be? Maybe kick the asses of your own politicians who held the power for 8 years and who held Congress for the first 2 years because they didn't do fucking shit. And now you're asking the gun-toting, well, you call them maniacs. You're asking gun-toting maniacs to pass legislation that would eliminate guns instead of asking your godhead president and your democratic, deeply democratic Congress to do it in 2009. Somebody fucking explain that to me, and don't throw the, oh, they were trying to fix the economy thing, because that doesn't fucking fly. You could have had 400 fucking congressional members and 78 senators working on the economy while the other 22 and 135 people were focusing on fucking gun control. But you didn't do that, did you? You didn't do shit with the power that you had when you had power. You didn't do fucking anything. But now you're asking Hitler to take your guns away. What's really funny is it's worth mentioning that one of the first things Hitler did when he came to power was he took away the population's weapons. Maybe you'd like to look up the Jewish rebellions in World War II, the people hiding in the forest with guns and ammunition that fucked up the Nazis that came through. Maybe you'd like to read up on that. Maybe you'd like to read up on the resistance and why they needed guns to be a resistance. Just a thought, since you believe that Hitler's in power. Also, when you feel the need to protest, it's because you're speaking against people you perceive to be more powerful than you. Those in power aren't ever really safe or nice people if you feel the need to protest against them. So yes, you should have to wear protection when you protest. Helmets against beanbag guns, pads against clubs, gas masks against tear gas deployment. I shouldn't have to wear this vest to protest. Bullshit. When the time comes, you should do whatever it takes to protest. Stop paying lip service to Black Bloc and maybe read up on anarchy and Black Bloc. And again, I'm not a member of these groups. I'm not advocating for these groups. But if you really want to get into the depths of protest and get into the depths of meaningful organization when it comes to opposing a force that's much more numerous and much more powerful than you, maybe read up on what protest is and what resistance is before you go and ask Hitler to take all of your means of protest and resistance away. Just a thought.